All right, you bunch of yahoos, strap yourselves in for another episode of Dan and Don's Toxic Masculinity.
In other words, shut up, sit up, and pay attention.
And here we go. Welcome back to another episode of Toxic Masculinity. We are here to entertain, offend, and defend anybody and everybody. To offer up our political satire approach on views on national and international events. We're a couple of crotchety old farts that have a bad habit of speaking the truth, but won't let a few facts get in the way of a good story. We believe in America and Americans. If this isn't for you, well, then we suggest you change the channel. We still believe in freedom of speech and will rub your face into the cow pie of reality. We will make you scratch your head or scratch your ass, hopefully not at the same time. And without further ado, my co host in crime, none other than the man of men, Don the Predator Frye, and I, his trusty sidekick, Dan the Beast Severn. And we are in the absence of your sidekick, Quinn. Is that correct there?
Yes, sir. So
But
I got Tony's
with
dog over here now. All right.
oh, but again, that'll be something that our guest today, Shane, and again, if on the last pronunciation, is it Crunchner?
Kruchten.
Crutchen?
Kruchten.
Crutchen. Yeah. Okay, all right. I want to make sure I'm saying that correctly. Okay, Crutchen. Okay, we have Shane Crutchen here with us today, former Marine, MMA fighter, big advocate there of a Wounded Warrior program, and there'll be a few other things that we'll be discussing through today's interview. And just because, just an all-around American who's trying to help out other Americans and other soldiers that are suffering from PTSD. So without further ado, we're off to the races. Well, a lot of viewers don't know that usually as we're setting up cameras and testing sound equipment, stuff like that, we start to already get into things. And the one thing that I had to read some information about yourself. You have you and Don already have this common similarity that you both have bulldogs. All right, but your
You got a bulldog?
bulldog.
Where's he at?
He passed away, man. I got
I'm sorry.
yeah, he lived to be 13 years old. Yeah, he just recently passed away.
Well, okay, now, okay, that was not updated in the thing that I read there right now. So again, I'm sorry to bring up something bad on there, but that was
You're
one
good.
thing I kept thinking. Well, Don's gonna like this right now because Don's a bulldog aficionado, and it was Dago, dog's name.
Dago, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Put bulldog by the name of Dago because again, Don's true love in life is his pet dog there, Quinn. So I kept thinking, well, that blows that one really quick out of the water. So
Well, we gotta only go up from here, Dan. Way to go.
yeah, I know. Okay,
Like,
all right. Well,
skip
so
on a
let's.
birthday cake, and you got that down to a science.
So let's start on your path, your journey here, Shane. So, you know, athletics. I mean, where do you think people actually come to know of you the most? Is it through what your advocatism that what you're doing with for other fellow soldiers, PTSD, or what did you say? The fact that you're an MMA fighter at one point in time, you were with the Marine Corps at one point in time. What where do you want to start here?
Yeah, it's weird. It's I've been a man of many lives up until this point. Medically retired out of the Marine Corps. 17 years as being a professional fighter. Fought in all the big organizations. It was really cool. And now being an advocate, both for wounded veterans as well as just Americans. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, there's so many layers. It's we can get real fun with those layers, but just I think fighting. I put my name on the map with fighting to a certain extent, and then also being able to tie being a Marine and fighting together really helped me
Oh,
get the
they go hand
recognition
in
that
hand. I mean,
I,
when you look at young people today, um,
yeah.
how many are actually participating in sports? And even then, when they're participating in sports, are they participating in sports of true physical combat? I mean, there's a big difference in playing, say, like baseball or something like that, as opposed to football, wrestling,
Some you
judo,
work up a sweat.
jujitsu.
Some of you work up a sweat doing, you know.
Yeah, there's just a world of
it is
difference.
crazy.
Go ahead.
No. So it is crazy. So I don't know if you guys saw. I live in California right now. I'm here for my daughter, and it's just they just passed a law. They're trying to ban gym class
Jeez.
because it makes fat kids feel uncomfortable because they get bullied. I'm like, well, then go buy your kid a freaking treadmill. You know what I mean? Like,
in shape.
dude,
Right. That's what
yeah,
gym class
I
is
grew up in
for.
Northern.
Gym class will eliminate that problem for them.
Bingo. And not just just playing touch or walking around a track. I see it. We have a local school around the corner from me. I grew up in northern Wisconsin, and I grew up on a farm. It was either you played if you wanted to play football, the coach made you do track, and then you got to choose a secondary sport as well. So I did wrestling. I didn't know any other way other than show up early in the morning, put in the grind, go home, work on the farm, and have a paper route so I could have extra money. Like, all I knew how to work and hustle and do my stuff. So it blows my mind when I look at kids these days, and they don't know, like you said, Dan, they don't know physical like impact. Nowadays, if you look at a kid sideways, they're offended. I mean,
Yeah.
Don said in an interview, it was hilarious about he goes, you might as well put all these new fighters in skirts because they're painting their fingernails and doing all this stuff. And it was
fingernails, toenails.
Yeah. I mean, and I look back at my career, and the only time I ever had anything on my nails, I literally wrote "It's a girl" when my daughter was being born, and I ran up to the camera after I choked a dude out, and I was like that, just as just that was my way of letting my mom know what I was going to have.
Oh, that's cool. That's a nice way of saying it.
Yeah, I just had it written on my fingernails, and I submitted the guy in a minute and a half, and then I ran up to the camera and did a goofy face, and my mom thought that was the coolest thing ever. So, but I wasn't painting my fingernails and all that crap. I don't get, when I was fighting, when I first started fighting, and Dan, I fought for you. I fought for you in a US.
I did. When I was looking through topology and stuff like that, I'm like going, I see a match right here that he was on, and I kept thinking, I got to bring that up and talk to him, because it's like going, well, let's go back to the farm here first. So I want to know, you growing up in Wisconsin, was it a dairy farm? Because you think of Wisconsin, you think of cheese, and you think of a lot of dairy farms. So were you on a dairy farm?
It was a dairy farm, dairy farm and hay. So you want to talk about busting your rear end, you start having hay days, and dairy days. It's insane. So most kids, they get called out of school because they have a sniffle or some crap like that. The amount of kids that were missing for hay day and stuff, and that's the days that we had to do all the crop harvesting and in literal just physical. And you couldn't wait to be 12 years old, because once you hit 12, you're sometimes too big to fit up in the lofts. And under that, you're in this hot loft.
I was going to bring that up. It's okay if you do it heyday, if you're on the wagon feeding the bales up, but if you're the guy that's up in that loft, oh my God, that's the worst position to be in. Because that's, as you said,
and it sucked hot. Because I was always small. So I was always in the loft. But my parents and my aunts, uncles, and stuff, you got to drink, and you earned having a nice cold beer with the family as young as 10, 11 years old, and all the women would cook all the food, so they'd have all these picnic tables out, and you just have a smorgasbord when you come down. But if you worked in the loft and you came down, you'd be all woozy, and they're like, "Hey, just man up." And you're like, okay, yes, sir, no problem. It wasn't, oh, it's too hot. Oh, none of that crap. It was a whole different world. Like, kids don't understand that.
Yeah, being up in that loft, and you got you got all that stuff just getting all around you and stuff like that. It's like going, you want, well, see, our barn loft right down the hill. There's a creek. So literally, when we'd try to get to a break, something like that, we're basically running down to the creek, peeling off the shirts, just diving into the water just to get all that stuff off of you because you're just itchy and mess. And then
It's in
go
your
eat
boots,
stuff
it's
like that. You dry off enough and just go right back up again because lunch is over. Let's get after it. Yeah, again,
Yeah, so
whining.
that really gave
You know,
me
your father, your parents would not put up with the whining. It's kind of going. You learn real quick. Whining will get you so far. Sooner or later, you're gonna get your ass busted too if you keep up the whining.
Well, we didn't even. I don't think we got warning shots. I don't remember warning shots as a kid. But you get a good wallop, and you remember real quick who's in charge and who you give the honor to right then and there.
Yeah, different type of time here, but like I said, it's what a what a reality check that would be for so many young people today if they were all of a sudden were
Just
injected
one
at
day,
that time
just
era.
one. Yeah, just one day. Like I would invite them. Like I still have my cousin still owns the farm. He inherited it. I one day I will gladly bring you to the farm. I will pay for your travel. Just one day. Just if you need an attitude adjustment on your children, let me know. I'll help you out.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Were you in the Marines when they had the stress card?
Oh God, no, I wouldn't. I would have been kicked out really fast. Had they had a stress card. I was in when men were still in, fortunately. So the don't ask, don't tell thing was still very much a factor. We still believed in masculinity. The drill instructor still hit us. And you couldn't cry about it. You're a man. Like, hey, guess what? We started boot camp with 100. Yeah, you're a Marine. Like we knew what we joined for. I didn't join the Army or the Air Force or the Navy. I joined the Marine Corps to be a man. And so when we walked in there, it was a whole different gamut. And I remember getting out. And nowadays, I have friends that are recruiters that are still in the Marine Corps and stuff, and they're telling me about stress cards and this and that, and I'm like, wait, what? Like, time out. Like, you want to stress? Come hang out with me for a day. I'll give you enough stress to make you grow some gray hair.
Well, you brought up, okay. I know we're gonna bounce around here a little bit. You did bring up danger zone. So let's
Oh
go
yeah,
back to that. So you said that you competed on danger zone. So obviously we met at some point in time. Where was this danger zone show at that time? What city or state?
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis? Okay.
Indianapolis.
All right.
Yeah. I drove I drove 14 hours to get there.
Yeah.
Well, okay,
And
now were you on the card originally, or were you like a last minute fill in, or anything like? I'm just kind of curious right now, or were you?
I had a week. I had a week and a half notice
Okay, so someone must have
to fight.
dropped out. Someone must have dropped out,
Yep.
and because normally we don't.
No, it was all planned, and then I got contacted off MySpace, of all places, and they offered. They said, "Hey, can you get here?" And I was like, yeah, no problem." And was it? I'm gonna actually look it up while we're talking, but I remember traveling out to driving there. It took me 14 hours to drive there. Checked into this like really weird, sketchy motel, and I showed up the next day to you to check in. And it was funny because I walked in to check in, and that's when I met you, and I was like in awe. I was like, oh, and you had your little fanny pack on, and you were saying hi to everybody.
Wait,
And
you're killing the mystique here now, but that's okay. You're good company. Don
Cheap
kills it all
hotel,
the time.
a cheap hotel and a fanny pack. No.
it's all downhill from here. No, and I remember, and we walked in, and that's when I met Luke Zacharich, is who I fought on your card.
Okay.
And he was on a tear at the time, and I was like, and I was in the mode of, oh, whatever, I don't really care at the time. I didn't care who I fought, anything like that. Anyways, I remember walking into the, oh geez, it just says lost danger zone. Yeah, in June 2nd of 2007. But yeah, they had
What,
I
what
remember
weight were you
seeing
guys
the
at? What weight were you guys at?
so he was 185 and I weighed
Because
in at
yeah, that's what I was
160.
wondering. Because I remember Luke was always a heavier competitor. I'm thinking, how could he? And I saw your stuff
Yeah,
was at like middleweight 155. I'm thinking, there's no way Luke weighed that kind of weight.
yeah.
So
I weighed in fully clothed. I was fully clothed, holding a water bottle to make the minimum weight to qualify to fight Luke. And I was down for it. And Luke comes over and he's so nice and he shakes my hand and he's like, "Hey man, how you doing?" And I was like, "How you doing?" He goes, "Oh shoot, you're tiny." And I was like, whatever, dude. Like, shit, tried to be all big game in him.
uh-huh.
And Luke's a killer. Like, I mean, all props to him. And I walked in there and I never fought in a square cage. I felt like I was in WWF at the time. That was pretty cool.
Well,
But
it was
he got me in the
literally most
corner,
people had
and that
never
was
been in a square cage before, and it's
yeah,
But I mean, I literally I built that cage. I'm not the welder of
yeah,
it, but it was my design because again, they were 8 foot
yeah,
high fencing sections because most if you look at like the
yeah,
UFC, it goes up 6 feet.
correct,
And so all these 6 foot tall men, if you're walking by, all you
yeah,
see is this a part of their head. I always go, it looks terrible. I mean, if you're shooting a camera from the outside,
yeah,
why don't they just go 8 foot tall sections? So now you just see just that little Xing and you can see right through the fencing. And I kept thinking it made sense to me. So I just made them
yeah.
8 foot tall sections, but square cage was a whole lot easier to construct than it was an octagon at the time. So please
Oh yeah.
Cheaper too.
Well,
Cheaper.
continue though.
it
I
was
mean,
funny too because I tell people Don said it or cheaper. No, but it was crazy because I walked in and I was like, and I still to this day I tell people about I fought in Dan Severn's square cage and they're like square cage. They're like, you weren't in WWF, and I go, no, this was a professional mixed martial arts
yeah.
fight, and they're like, huh? And they're like, where's the pictures? And I mean that was before camera phones. That was before we were doing walking around with readily available cameras. So if you have any pictures of that, I would love one. I miss it. But no, I ran at Luke. I'll never forget. I tried to overhand right him and double leg him, and I grabbed his legs, and he was so big, he literally just grabbed my head and said no, and smashed me down. I tried to scramble up, trying to wrestle him, and he threw me in the corner, and that's all she wrote. I got armbarred. I was like, okay, that's out the window goes that one. But I was very fortunate when I signed with World Series of Fighting.
Uh-huh.
And originally, Luke reached out to me on social media and he goes, "Look at us now. Look where we came from. Look at us now." And he was in the UFC at the time, and it was
Yeah.
really cool to, really cool to just kind of get that, proverbial fist bump from him, just like, and we haven't really stayed in touch, but it was cool. It was like, just reaching out and just saying, "Hey, man, what's good?" It was
No,
cool.
like I said, Luke come from a good family. He's a good guy, and
Very good.
last I knew, he actually had a gym and stuff like that that was going in I believe it's back in Ohio somewhere. So I just the last couple of years, especially through the COVID thing, a lot of things got shut down, and I haven't been in touch with some people since that time frame. So I'm actually gonna make a little note to reach out to Luke to see what he's up to nowadays.
Yeah. Well, send my love and respect to him, please.
Nice, nice. Again, that was what I mean. Well, did you and I
That was a
officially meet?
lifetime ago now.
I was gonna say, but did you and
We
I
did.
actually meet at that time too?
Yeah. We
Okay.
we met we met at a table trying to collect my check from you. And you
That was a tougher fight than
Maybe I should just shut up now.
well, no,
Well, let's put it this way. Yeah. Dana White has a pretty deep pocket to reach into. Not just his, but when you look at the coffers right there, all that stuff is coming right out of what Uno's fanny pack here. Yes.
yeah. Oh
couldn't
no, he
reach.
came out of the fanny pack and you wrote
Yeah,
it back.
those T-Rex
Yeah.
arms couldn't reach it out to.
Oh my! Oh my! Oh my!
Like a
So,
little
so now
alligator.
that you open Pandora's box,
Oh my gosh! Oh. How will I ever live this legacy down here, Mr. Frye?
Did the
I
check
won't,
have
will I?
tears on it? Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It said, please help on the memo line. No.
Yeah. Well,
Please send donations.
Please hold for 2 months.
moving along here now.
Show.
Moving along here now. This is not supposed to be a Dan Severn roast here right now. This is a okay. We're here for Shane here right now. This is Shane's moment here.
They expire in 3, so it says hold for 4.
Well, I mean, well, bringing up a name of Norby. Excuse me, here, Norby. Basically,
Norby Lara.
it was basically a godsend for you.
Oh yeah, man. So fast forward through my Marine Corps fighting career. I fell into drugs and alcohol.
We'll come back to that for sure. But again, just knowing that, I just want to make sure we hit certain high spots. We'll come back and we'll come back to Dan Severn's frugality even at some other point too. So
no, it's so Norby was such a great person for me. Norby came into my life just completely random. He was an outreach coordinator at the time for a certain project I won't mention anymore. I don't give him props, but it's at the time they were a great organization and Norby worked for them, and he really did a really good thing. And it, for whatever reason, Norby run, like, he was that type of guy. He lost his arm. He got his arm ripped off when an RPG went through the window of a Humvee and hit his arm. So ripped his arm completely off. And his lieutenant in the front other seat, that was where the RPG diagonally went in, lost her arm. He lost his arm. Wild. And so this guy,
and they both lived.
They both lived. Yes.
I mean, you would think that the moment you lose that, I mean, you got arteries stuff like that. You would thought that they would have bled out.
Yeah, you would think, and but today's technology and everything, they saved them. And Norby and the lieutenant, I think she was a lieutenant, they both actually worked for the same organization at the time. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't know her. I knew Norby. And Norby really, just came into Norby came into Shane's life, like into my life big time, when I was at a dark spot that many don't ever recover from. And I actually led myself down the darkest of dark paths. And Norby basically started calling my phone saying, answer it. Otherwise, I'm going to drive down. I'll make you answer it. And I was like, yo, I'm sorry, but it's like that. You never want to get your ass kicked by a one-legged man. Like, I didn't want to get my ass kicked by a one-armed man either. That wasn't in my cards of life. So I answered the phone. He got me plugged in with the right people and really pulled my head out of my ass, proverbially, like, to get on the right path of life and to get clean. Like, I've been clean now since June 14th, 2009, because of Norby. I'll always attribute that to him. When I made my World Series of Fighting debut in Las Vegas, I called Norby and I flew him to Las Vegas and I had Norby corner me.
Nice.
Really one of the most honorable ways of me saying thank you to him is him walking me out, wearing the stuff, getting the whole experience of, Ray Cefo's organization at the time, and just really just kind of culminating everything that where I was to where I was and where I am now, bringing that all there and saying, Norby, you got to carry me with. And my corners, I had to tell one of my guys, I go, hey, sit in the front row. I bought him a front row seat so he could yell directions, so Norby could actually walk out with me. And it worked out perfect. That weird corner man can't really open a water bottle one arm, but he was able to put the ice pack on my neck pretty well. So, but no, I love the guy. He's a great family man, and always checks in on me. He's a great dude.
Nice. I mean, is he still around? Is he still in your life even today, or?
He is off and on. I mean, obviously, our paths are kind of a little bit different.
Well, again, yeah.
He's
I mean, he was there for you,
man, and
he was there for you in that dark spot. But now that life is moving, okay, I understood.
Correct.
Yep. Yeah. So it's always.
Yeah, we're still friends. Oh yeah, we've reached out to each other in a. Yeah, but it's always good. I mean, anytime I'm in something, I can call him. Still to this day, I still text him whenever. You know, we're on you know, social media together and stuff. But you know, he lives in Visalia, California. Great guy. You know, I love his wife and family. So always thankful.
But you're saying that now that you no longer live in good old uh, home family values, Wisconsin, you're now living in California. And your shirt basically kind of says it all here right now of you know one of the things that you're probably involved with, and basically you're just trying to bring more light to. Go ahead, I'll turn the platform right back over to you as to what are you trying to do here, just to bring to people's forefront, to attention, to concerning parents of good values. I have to say it like that because
Concerning
there's a lot of people think that they think that they're doing the right thing, but they're not. They're not doing the right thing by their
yeah.
children, by what they're, you know. The floor is
Oh, I'm
yours.
with you. I'm 100% with you on that. And you know, if you like my shirt says save our children, you know, it's you know, that today's youth and any youth, especially when we were all kids. I mean, you know, I was raised, you know, you're a man, you're a man. You know, you look between your legs, you stand to piss or you sit down to piss. Like that's what you are. Like live that. You know,
Yeah.
and that was something, you know, I can go out, I can go out back and pee in my bushes. Can you? You know, like, okay, cool, then you're a man. Done. Easy peasy. And you know, this whole, you know, teaching kids that, you know, gender, whatever the frick that is. If you read my Instagram, it says, you know, Instagram was telling me, because I'm a verified profile, I was supposed to have pronouns and all that crap on there. So I wrote, I identify as a threat. My pronouns are trying me. I was like, that's the best you're going to get out of me. You know, so if you want something, you got something. Um, and you know, just I really look at it. Hey, by all means, use it up. And you know, you really look at what they're doing to children. You look at my daughter, for instance. You know, a boy had walked into a bathroom, and she goes, "Daddy, why is that?" I was like, "Whoa, what?" And she was in public school at the time. Then the lockdowns happened. I mean, you've never seen mass abuse of children more than in 2020 into 2021, especially here in California. I mean, California. You know, just the way the abuse is rampant, with no studies. And then they were like, well, you got to wear a mask indoors, but outdoors they can play together. But when they go indoors, they got to be 6 feet apart. I'm like, who the frick is coming up with these, you know,
Rules.
ideologies? Yeah, man. So, you know, my church was like, hey, we're starting a school to like basically get the kids away from that crap. And I was like, yo, that's a good idea. So I hit up my kid's mom. We're not together. And I hit her up, and her husband is amazing. He was a Marine as well. And I love the guy. And I go, hey, here's my idea. And they're like, whoa, you're on board with this? We want to pull her out of public school too and put her in private religious school. I was like, done. Do they believe in masks, vaccines, all that crap? They're like, no, they're saying that's none of that. And I was like, dude, let's get her there ASAP. You know, it's insane to see how parents are just like, yo, so-and-so is just an influencer on the internet, or so-and-so. Yeah, sure. Let them abuse my child. And something I had said off the air, I walk into school board meetings, and one thing that I asked the school board superintendent, I said, you know, what's the address for your house? And he goes, excuse me? And I go, yeah, I just need the address. So the next time somebody tries to abuse my child, they can come to your house and abuse yours. I mean, fair is fair, right? And oh man, I got a really cool shiny pair of handcuffs that day. I got to walk out. I got barred. I got banned from Delta Airlines, American Airlines in 2020.
Okay,
Yeah,
why on the airlines?
I don't wear that face condom bullshit.
Oh,
Yeah, but no, and you know, not making my daughter, when they tried to yell at my daughter, that was it. You know, traveling with her, that's all she wrote. You know, it's crazy when you look at what people are doing to kids, and you know, and then you look at in California for prime example, they have books on how to be gay in elementary schools, and it's like, what in the frick is going on? How a boy is supposed to go down on another boy? Like, dude, Moby Dick was controversial when I was in freaking elementary school. Okay, like because it said Dick on it. Nowadays they're like, oh, here it is right there, front and center. And really just pushing forward to different school boards. I went to, and I don't believe in this whole the whole gender crap and no, you're a boy, you're a girl. There's none of this in between crap. I don't believe in that. I'm a firm believer against it. I'm also very staunch on protecting the kids as let a kid be a kid. And these parents are getting these kids to have sexual surgeries, reassignment surgeries, they call them. First of all, any doctor that is cool with that and performs that should just be lined up and shot behind the house, like we would with a horse with a broken leg. Just take them out, boom, done. It's way cheaper, either that or a wood chipper. Like these trans or cross-dressing, whatever the heck they are, doing drag shows in the schools. Like they should have a drag show entrance and like just put a wood chipper with some shiny little crap. If you look at my Instagram, I have a picture of what it should look like, and they should just jump in there. That should be their VIP entrance into the thing, especially for any parents that support it. They can just jump right in too. I just can't believe that people are in today's world okay with their children not being kids. They're forcing the kid. They're like, and it's almost, you remember when you look back and these kids are, and they always say, don't live vicariously through your children. These mentally deranged parents are living 100% their derangement through their kids. This world has become
they're poison.
100%. And these kids are so innocent. So what's easier than jumping on these kids and cramming all their psychological illnesses down their throat and making these kids believe that shit, what Oscar the Grouch got canceled? Like, what the oh my gosh. Yeah, he got canceled. Oscar the Grouch was too grouchy.
He was my hero on Sesame Street.
Yeah, right. He offended people. I just don't understand. So you really, and it's crazy too, because I think this world, especially in California, is not only under attack in like the earthly ways, but I mean religion, whether somebody believes or not, religion is under the largest attack ever in history. Yeah. The amount of demonic stuff that's being crammed and being okayed, it's just wild to just, I don't know. I just sit back down and I'm just like, what in the frick? So like, I have an 18-year-old and I got a 9-year-old, 18-year-old boy, 9-year-old girl. My 18-year-old son, he's going to do what he's got to do. At least he lives in a real state. He lives in Arizona. And
is he graduated or is he still in high school?
Just graduated high school. Yeah. I was out there 2 months ago for his graduation. He graduated at the football stadium there in Phoenix. Nice. Trying to get him to go to college this year. So I'm trying.
Honestly, just as a parent of children myself, I would not advise them really going into college right away, because most 18-year-olds, they really don't know what they want to do.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
Have them go get a job. I say by having that job.
So my son works. Yeah.
Go ahead.
He works 40 hours a week. Yeah. So my son works 40 hours a week, sometimes up to 60 hours a week for grocery store, for Kroger. And, I'm proud of that guy. He rides 11 miles one way on his bicycle each way to work, which is about an hour and a half of riding each way. So, I mean, he's been doing that since he was in school, when he was in the middle of senior year. So yeah, I'm with you on that, in the job thing.
I'm just always look at teaching them a work ethic in the first place. I mean, my kids, they learn real quick to never say I'm bored around me. Like, you're bored.
Are you?
Yes, let's go outside and we'll find some things to do here right now. And again, they're like, no, Dad, because they'd be like, we're gonna have a rock party, and they're thinking music and stuff like that. Oh, sure, I'll turn on.
That's exactly.
I'll turn on the radio, but we're actually out there picking up rocks and stuff like that out of the yard or the field, stuff like that, till we're making it nicer. But no, yeah, people. I actually think there should be certain tests that people should take in order to be able or be allowed to even conceive a child. I hate to say that there, Shane, because the biggest
I'm with you.
the biggest
Don't hate to say it.
epidemic, they all talk about COVID. All through this 2 year lockdown stuff, like they all talk about the COVID caper, the whole 9 yards. They go. The biggest thing that happened was how mental intelligence got lowered and lowered and lowered. I call it the biggest uh, disease was stupid assitis. It just rampant that people's IQs just started just being lowered here right now. And I go, don't stop lowering the bar. Let's start raising that bar back on up because I can't believe what in that first segment just talk about physical fitness and what they're doing in our schools right now to teach about physical fitness. There is no, if you go and watch a physical fitness class now, PE class, I'll bet you a quarter to 1/3 of the class won't even dress out. And
Yeah.
you'll never hear the words dodgeball being said there because
No.
there'll be nothing physical
Violent.
about that physical education aspect there either. I mean, here's here, okay, Shane. When's the last time that you ever heard about the Presidential Physical Fitness Awards?
I had
Decades.
I had four of those. I had four of those, all blue, for kicking ass and taking names.
Yeah.
Those are not easy to get.
They're not
easy.
again, and I think that
No.
they start those right around somewhere in that junior high type of
It is
time
junior
frame
high.
there. But it was
Yep.
big. Every kid I knew wanted to win that, and not all of the physically fit people, they're going to achieve those. But are the heavy set kids going to? No. And then they're like,
No.
every they start coming. Everyone gets a medal. Everyone gets a trophy. I go, how is that right? I mean, that's where again, thinking in the terms of a professional wrestler right now, manager or something like that. I like to get one of these heels that they just love being mean and stuff like that, and they have this. They got a big old rubber stamp with an L. And then all the kids that are losing, they go, "Hey, kid, come up here." I go, "You feel kind of bad that you lost, don't you?" Stamp right on the forehead. Well, get out of here, you loser, because you did lose. Come back when But again, do it in a way. Well, I don't know if there's a good way to do that one right now, but that'd be great for a professional wrestling angle. Nevertheless, get a lot of heat in today's world, especially if the show's
Oh, that'd be
in
amazing.
California.
I
But
would stir it up.
but the thing is, why lower the bars? That's all we're doing. We're just continuing to lower the bar to where eventually you just watch us throw the bar on the ground. Let's just step on it. Have none whatsoever, and be chaotic and chaos, and let stupidity and no rules and regulations take place. But no, there's got to be rules.
Well, it's like
everybody.
you got these, and another thing Don likes got to bring up, and by the way, Don, I'd love your interview with that girl from the UFC, and she asked you about the YouTube boxers. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, you're and you go YouTube boxer. What are they boxing on the internet? But no, it's this weekend is I mean Jake Paul's gonna fight Diaz, and I don't think you realize you got a real fighter coming at you, my guy. Like that's a guy that don't give a shit, and I mean, he walks out of interviews because he doesn't give a shit about you and your little running your gums. Like he's ready to fight. Like this guy this Saturday, I mean, he's gonna fight. You got a guy that's ready to go. So it's crazy. I think that's the same thing in the world. These parents are raising these kids and now they're getting 18, 19, 20 years old. I can't tell you, I'm fully covered in tattoos and everything else. I drive, I have nice vehicles. I have, a nice Harley and I drive around and I have a big Let's Go Brandon sticker on the back of my Harley Davidson. I got, Let's Go Brandon on the back of my F-250 and my Tesla has War Rhino across it. Nothing says, come pick a fight with me, FAFO, I'm a firm believer in FAFO. Fuck around and find out. I'm a giver of many disciplines, but no, they have these guys, they start running their gums and I'll just stare at them and I'm like, are you serious? Like, and people they're with are like, oh shit. They start seeing scars, my ear, and they're like, yeah, maybe we, no problem, man. No, walk away. They're just, it's just insane to think about and just see. When I was a kid, if you didn't show respect, your parents beat your ass.
Right.
Exactly.
And my parents used to encourage my mother. My mother would encourage my friends' mothers to beat my ass if I swore or disrespected a female at their house. I called a girl a bitch when I was 11 years old. I remember 11 years old because I got drugged by the ear over to said girl's house. My mom proceeded to say, call it to her again, right in front of the girl's parents. And her dad's looking at me, and this man was a Vietnam vet. He's staring at me. He's like, and I was like, oh shit. Like, I knew I was screwed. And I said it. I said, you bitch. And my mom goes, soup, chancla off, and just proceeded to beat my ass as hard as she could with a leather sandal. And I'm laying on the ground crying. And my mom goes, don't cry now. You were man enough to say it 5 minutes ago. And I was like, oh shit. Like, to this day, though, I look back and people are like, oh my God, that's child abuse. I was like, no, that made me really second guess, like, ever saying that shit again, and made me respect my mom, made me respect women in a whole different world. And my mom proceeded to like pick me up and make me drink hot sauce. I was like, yo, what the fuck kind of punishment is this shit? That's some German shit. Like, my mom, super, I love her to death. But, she taught me numerous life lessons in a matter of a 10-minute span. From respect to, self-honor to honoring others. And it was like, thanks. Like, that's all I needed. Didn't do it again. I was good to go.
Probably the biggest lesson was there is repercussions for your actions, whereas most people, there are no repercussions. And like going, oh, really now? I don't know what playground you're going to be on, but let's play in the real world.
Like, like the guy trying to point at, trying to talk shit to Don at the UFC event. He's just trying to point his direction out the stadium, trying to show him where to go. I mean, the guy just happened to the guy tried to hit Don's hand. Yeah. I saw it.
I did too. Violent guy had problems. Very violent.
I can't believe he would do that to you, man.
And, my hands are fragile. I mean,
yeah, dude.
I used to make, I paint. Make clay figurines too. So they're very important to me.
I'll buy one. Side hustle.
Sorry, Don. I couldn't keep a straight face on that one.
I tried.
I'm like Hunter Biter. I'm a painter. $500,000. So.
Oh, you must wait. Are you somehow related to Biden right there? I mean, isn't he buying his son's artwork for that kind of money? Huh?
The Chinese are paying that.
Oh, yeah, I forgot who.
Not him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow, the world is a pretty screwed up place right now. We're just bringing in all kinds of people.
Yeah, we're cheering this bastard, and we're letting him get away with it, and then we're crucifying the only honest man to be in DC, Yep. President Trump.
Yep.
Everybody else is just...
Yeah. It's funny how one of the most secure buildings in the world, and a little John Jones candy gets found in a freaking secure room.
Right.
And they magically don't know where it came from, but yet they know that Trump worked with the Russians. Like, what?
Right.
Oh,
that's why the investigation took 5 years. Shit.
Yeah. For something that's already gone, and I don't know. That's another. Yeah, that's a fun one.
Yeah. It's a joke, and and we're putting up with it. That's the saddest thing about it all, is that we're allowing it to happen. And we're shutting up about it because we're afraid, Biden's bullying everybody, so you say something, I'll throw your ass in jail. So
Yeah.
everybody's terrified.
Well, case in point, look at the poor Marine and the Marine veteran in New York City.
Right.
The guy's trying to attack people on a freaking subway. He puts them in a rear naked choke, and the guy passes away. I'm sorry.
Bad.
He felt like his fucking life was in danger. He was not only saving himself, but he's saving others. And then you're going to try to put him in prison for life for murder? Like, the fuck? Like, sorry, guy. You look like a really upset man. Please don't hurt me. I'm just going to sit over here. Like
I'm white. It's all my fault. I know it is.
Yeah, no shit. The ideology of victim mentality has really gone crazy. I mean, San Francisco just announced that they're gonna give $250,000 reparations to every single black person or something like that. I'm gonna go identify as black here in a minute.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm gonna go take that up. Anything for a side hustle. But it's just it's like you're talking 3 humans ago was slavery.
3 generations.
Yeah, 3 humans ago. Yeah, 3 generations.
And
these guys don't even.
It was only for 3 humans too. It was only 90 years in the United States.
Yes.
It wasn't 400 years, 500, all that bullshit. It was 90 years.
No,
we've been longer without slavery than when we had slavery.
Correct. And I'm a big fan. Let's unpack that for a hot second. I'm a big fan of reparations that being paid by those responsible. I'm gonna go all in on that on this podcast right now. I'm gonna say I'm a big fan of reparations being paid by those responsible. So then we have to go back to
if you were the victim, not because your grandfather was a victim.
Exactly. But no, you know what, Don? Let's be nice. Let's give it even to the grandkids. Let's pin it on those responsible. Okay, so who brought slavery to America and implemented it?
Yeah. Spanish.
The Democratic Party.
Yeah.
The Democratic Party. So no problem.
Yeah. Have Biden around take out his account. He got $100 million from the Russians and the Ukrainians and everybody else.
They got it.
Chinese. He's got plenty of money. Let him pay him off.
It's so crazy. Yeah, but they always say like this big party switch and all this and that. Like, it's never switched. Like it's hogwash. It's crazy. But like you said, and it's just like the world today is all about. Well, this happened. Well, yeah, it did. Did it happen to you? Right. So shut the front door, dude. Like it didn't happen to you. I mean, I could cry. I come from German ancestry and a very strong German heritage. I could cry that, oh, well, the Russians killed my people. Well, Russians need to pay me. Okay, well, my people also murdered a shit ton of Russians and Jews. Like, like how far do you want to go with this? Like we could go down this, it's stupid, and not saying most. I know a ton of African-American individuals that think this is absolute hogwash, is bullshit. I think the BLM movement is absolute bullshit. It's a money grab conspiracy theory. That's why they're getting money and they're now filing for bankruptcy. But that's another, thing. The one group of people I think in the United States that deserves any sort of reparations, like, and this is all honesty. This isn't a joke. This isn't anything. There's one group of people in America today that actually deserves some sort of reparations. That's the Japanese Americans from World War II that were put into camps, confinement camps. And if anybody's going to get some sort of cash, they should get something as a sorry, being put in those camps because of the idiot homelanders that decided to bomb America and take it on. But
okay, but why don't they complain? That's the question for you. Why don't they complain?
Because they believe that they are moved forward and they're big kids that took a step, and guess what, they're all successful, they all push forward, they believe in hustling, they don't live in the past and cry about what happened. There's 3 things in life: what happened, what is, and what will be. And they live on what is and what will be. They do not go to the past. Now, do we study it? Do we know about it? I mean, I don't know if they even do that in school anymore, which is really sad. But most people probably don't even know there was actual concentration camps in America because that's how ignorant people are in school these days. But and people hear the word concentration camp, they think like gassing Jews, but that's not true. Like that was just an extra that Hitler happened to put on the on the cake. But there was camps, there was actual confinement camps, concentration camps in America.
Right here outside Tucson. Right here outside Tucson.
Yes, there was big ones out in Arizona. That was some of the biggest ones. And people don't know that, but they don't cry about it. They're not burning down city halls. They're not burning down cities. A good friend of mine, you look at this Jason Aldean song that came out, and came out 6 months ago, and a couple weeks ago, everybody decided to cry about it after it was already on the Billboard stop list. Like, wait, what? Because he had real video footage. So I posted a picture, and Don, I think you actually liked it on my Instagram, and it was of Kyle Rittenhouse, who's a friend of mine, and we follow each other there on social media, and I posted it, said, I remember what happened when they tried it in a small town once. I said, I'm old enough to remember what happens when they try it in a small town. And, I'm from Wisconsin. I'm born and bred. And it's, Kyle, a lot of people gave that man hate. And I'm like, for what? That man should be given a presidential award and get a yearly salary for killing a pedophile and a convicted sexual predator. That man should be, like, gold should be laid out on a street for his life. It's crazy because everybody's like, but he shot him. I'm like, they swung at him with a gun and a skateboard. You damn right he shot him.
Yeah. Should shot him twice.
Yeah, it's like, darn, he missed. The sad thing is the asshole's still alive. He just got his arm blown off. But what are you gonna do? It's crazy if you kind of look at all the way life is, Dan, and it's just. Yeah.
No, I mean I Shane, you're speaking to Don and Dan here. I mean, I honestly, it's I grew up in that same type of environment that you're talking about, and I remember being delayed one day to go to school. We had just picked up a new milking cow, and it was tied up out on a fencing rail type area, and a truck or car came by, spooked it, and it somehow jumped over the fence, and basically, it basically hung itself. Okay, it hung itself. So we had to stay home. We had to stay home and literally butcher the cow, because we're not going to let the meat go to waste. We're going to butcher cow.
No,
so
that goes in the freezer.
My mother wrote a note. Please excuse Dave and Dan, as my older brother, from school.
Yeah.
We had a death in the family, and we had to butcher it. So I mean, the school principal come to know the family pretty quickly. That's like, who's this person that writes notes like this for their? My mother had quite the sense of humor to her. I still remember distinctly one day. I'm probably in high school at this time, freshman, sophomore, and I'm just having kind of a pissy day. And I'm complaining to my mother. Well, my mother's across the big counter, and she's got this big butcher knife, and she's slicing up big slabs of meat and stuff like that, just cutting up on this. And I got mouthy, and all of a sudden, without a flinch, she reaches over that blade and slaps it. Bam! Just slaps me on the arm, and then goes right back to work. And I'm like, Mom, you could have. And she looks at me, she points that knife at me. She goes, I could have, but I didn't now, did I? And I go, woo. So again, just like going, Mom kept it real, Pops kept it real. It's kind of like going, you kind of knew where you stood at all times. I mean, if they're a little disappointed to you, they're not going to say, oh, take a time out, little Billy.
Yeah, there's no timeout. There's no stress cards in our childhoods.
Yeah. Your timeout might be go shovel the cow pins out, go shovel the pig pins out. I mean, but that the spring ritual cleaning cow pins, pig pins. I mean, most people will never understand that luxurious, smells and
Smells so good.
Take
Yeah.
a time out. Take a time out to include dinner. You know, that's
Well, I mean, hell, I remember sitting out there and eating a sandwich because it's kind of like going, they really don't have no true lunch break with it. It's just kind of going, just pull a
No.
glove off, you eat
I don't know.
whatever, put your glove back on, go.
Send your ass to bed without dinner. You know, shit. Do that now.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've had that.
Yeah. You know,
Oh yeah, there was no child protective service. I remember I tried to threaten my mom got remarried to my stepdad, who's a pile of absolute dog shit. I'm glad he's dead. But he
Don't sugarcoat this,
used.
Shane. I mean, I kind of feel like you're holding things back. Yeah,
how you really feel.
I'm really
let,
trying to just hold back. I'm really trying to be nice here. He was just an abusive prick that, thought that, there's a difference between putting somebody in line and beating the shit out of somebody for no reason. And he thought he was tough. When I was 12 years old, I think that was my introduction to fighting. I had enough of watching my mom getting beat up. I was at my mom's house at the time, and he was beating up my sister, my mom, and I'm a little guy at 12 years old. I was wrestling 103 pounds, and I was
Wow.
like, all right, you want to play games? I walked out in the garage and I grabbed a driver for golfing, and I walked inside and I was like, what's up? Pow! Cracked him, dropped him, and yeah, he ends up calling the cops on me, and I got arrested. That was my first stint in jail. 12 years
Okay,
old.
how old were you?
And,
How
12.
old were you? 12? Holy moly.
Yeah, I was 12. Yeah, but that was my first stint. I was like, I knew then that, it and my mom, for reasons, of threats from my stepdad at the time and all that crap, she didn't even come to my aid. And my old man found out about it. And, these threats started from my stepdad, I'm going to kill him and I'm going to beat him up and all this crap the day he turns 18. I remember when I emancipated when I was 17 so I could join the Marine Corps. And my old man showed up, with a couple buddies. And he goes, "Hey, Mike, come on outside. Let's talk." My old man, you got a hardcore, Vietnam vet sitting out there, and he's like, "Come on outside." He was a biker gang member from Vietnam all the way through the 90s, and part of the Outlaws versus Hell's Angel wars of exploding people's cars, everything in Chicago and Wisconsin. And he's like, "Come on outside. I just want to talk to you. I heard you want to beat up Shane." He's like, "He's standing right here. He's free game. Beat his ass." He goes, "I just want to see it." I'm like, "Oh shit!" And I'm thinking in the back of my head, I'm like, "Please don't walk. My dad's gonna put a bullet through you. Like, you walk outside, first you're gonna get your ass beat, and then you're gonna get a bullet." And my dad don't care, and that's all I could think about. But I think that really made me respect, and like you were talking about earlier, that was a time at 12 that made me know right then and there, you always have to stand up for those that can't stand up for themselves. And that's kind of where I'm at in today's world. And another thing you said too is like, people talk, but they don't realize there's repercussions that come with your words. And, you can write a check of all this shit you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm the asshole that'll cash it.
Right.
And I may lose that fight. I'll make you realize, I double-legged a guy in a bar once. That you never want to get double-legged in a bar or a head kick. Those are two really embarrassing things. And he decided he was gonna.
It's tough to show your face around there anytime soon.
Yeah. Well, you remember yeah. I was with some pretty prominent fighters. We were at this bar in PB Bar and Grill, and one of the fighters now was with a porn star. Now he's in prison for life. You might know the name. But we were all down War Machine. We were all down in a bar, and some stuff went on, and this is years ago. And these guys decided that these college kids thought it was really funny to start talking shit to us, and then also start abusing, talking down to women. And we were like, "Hey, you can talk all the shit you want to us, but you leave them alone." And they were just rap, and I was like, "No." And I walked up, and the guy, I don't know why, I was always a little guy in fighting. I was always, I was always the littler guy, and these guys are big, 70, 85 pounders. And they always, all the big dudes like to just come up to me. And I'm like, because they thought it was going to be an easier fight. They didn't realize I was the wrestler of the group, not the striker. So I'm like, well, I'm not hitting you in the face because you punch me, it's gonna hurt, but I'll double leg the shit out of you and drop you on your skull. It's like so.
Exactly. Well,
That's how it all started.
as I always say that you're going to prove Newton's law of gravity. Whatever goes up must come down. That's all.
Amen. Amen to that. You high crotch somebody in the middle of a bar. You never heard a man squeal until they start flying through the air and they don't realize what's going on and they're wondering. I mean, it's funny.
They're not as versed as to know to tuck the head and roll because they're going to probably face
no, they
plant.
go like this. They go, what?
Yeah, exactly. Face plant. Oh yeah. No,
nobody, nothing puts an exclamation point on a bar fight like a back to belly suplex either. Those are really fun. You just to make sure you drive the point home. Even the bouncers don't want to mess with it. They're like, can you please just leave? Gotcha. Like,
well, yeah, but I'll say that in most bar settings, though, there is a bewitching hour, like called closing time. Closing time is a very bewitching time frame because now, are you going home with someone or are you not going home with someone? Are you just going home with your drunk buddies or whatever? I mean, there's a real fine line to where you can see the desperation in people's eyes.
I'm
And
usually,
that's
I'm not one
every
to party anymore.
bartender's that's the touchy part at that point. That going, how do we get them all out of here without fights taking place?
Yeah. No, and I saw a shirt. It's funny you brought up another thing about people, not realizing how they're just talking stupid and nobody can understand them. Saw a shirt online the other day for sale, said no hablo el factardo. And I was like, wow, okay. Don't speak factardo. And I was like, that is a perfect shirt for both of you. I saw that. I was like, that's the first thing I thought about today when I knew I had this when I had this podcast. I was like, that is a perfect shirt.
Yeah. Well, it's like I said, it's we Don, Frye, and I we're just fine. It's kind of like going. If we get canceled, we get canceled. We'll find other ways to get our voice out there. We're just fine. We're not going to compromise ourselves. We don't have
title to another show.
Yeah.
I do miss the fireside talks though, Don.
I do too. Yeah. We're
the fireside talks were something else. That was a great little segment. Yeah, the whole fireside talks.
Thanks. Yeah, we're Stuart Wilson. He was the guy whose idea that was producer, and so we're talking about bringing that back.
Oh, absolutely.
Gotta come up with the money.
Yeah.
We find a couple of advertisers. So we're hoping PBR will get on this pro bull riding. I think it goes hand in hand with it.
Oh yeah, I mean we can't have you can't have Dan Severn's fanny pack talks. Those don't hit the same.
No, they don't. Not quite there, unless you're making s'mores. You're roasting s'mores, in the fireplace.
Oh, here he goes. He's going for it. Hey.
I am not afraid to let some people know. Yes. They want to. These two guys want to talk shit about Dan Severn. Dan Severn is proud of his fanny pack. He has it right here. Yes.
Is that a seatbelt extension on that thing?
I may want to wear it right here for the rest of the podcast right now. Put it right on the shoulder. Yes,
That one of those seatbelt extensions, like on the airplane. They come up with that 3-foot piece of for those rotund people.
Yeah, you guys want to talk some shit here right now. Let's keep it real.
Yeah, come on, man. You tell the truth. You get sandwiches in that Oreo cookies and sandwiches.
Well, I probably do have a few treats in there.
I saw those receipts. He's trying to get those tax exemptions.
Oh hell yeah! Hell yes.
Guido Sarducci brothers. They're the best tax guys I know.
You never seen him move so fast as when the wind catches one, He's going across that
yeah. Wait a second. We're losing the course of this interview right now. We've got to shift the wind back up this way right now. Come on now, Mr. Frye. what's wrong with you?
You dumpster diving for receipts, So.
Who's got a dumpster dive? Can't I just make up some new ones on my own? Come on.
I don't know. You get that machine going again yet? Yeah.
Well,
The old printing press.
See what I have to contend with here, Shane. Every at least once a week, on this, and then I have the audacity. I'm a glutton for punishment. I'll usually call them once or twice in between that time frame, just for a little bit more, a little sporadic punishment here.
Motivation. He's looking for motivation.
Oh, motivation.
Don,
See now,
Dan and I had a good conversation in San Diego, and he was out here, and we were chatting, and your fanny pack came up, and we were talking about how you were like trying to get in there and find your checkbook there for a minute, and he goes, "Oh, I can't wait for this one."
Yeah, it's down at the bottom, and no, the light, close it up.
So anyway, where are we going from here right now? Okay, well, Shane, what kind of great projects do you have coming on up? What are some of the newest goals on Shane's horizon here right now?
Man, funny enough, so new goals on my horizon. So I have a 501c3 nonprofit that I'm still pushing forward with. That helps give military veterans with PTSD, law enforcement officers with PTSD, battered women and children from battered homes, free jujitsu for life. So you're really just trying to push forward with that, really just bring awareness to that.
Is there a title
and get these
for
guys
this? Is there a title for
it's just Alliance East Lake Foundation. Yeah, Alliance East Lake Foundation. So, just really trying to push forward and make sure these guys get the jiu-jitsu saves lives. I know wrestling saves lives, but I can give them a little bit extra and choke somebody. I mean, nothing says, good mental health therapy like choking your best friend, especially when you're coming out.
Choke them out, arm bar them, leg lock them. Yeah.
It all works the same. Yeah. It's really cool,
Wrestlers are twisted people to begin with, but literally when you get into jiu-jitsu, they're literally twisted people. Yeah,
100%. So I'm a firm believer in folding full-grown people in. I like folding my laundry with people inside of it. That's my belief. So they have I'm doing that. I have some stuff in the works right now for a political run coming up. That'll be to
really for you, for an office for me. Of sorts.
Yeah. I want to shake it up, bring in somebody with some balls and some real masculine energy and really just shake up, really just, try to give California a sack between their legs again.
I'm glad that you use that, because I told Don Frye, I said the two props I'd like to get in here is a backbone, so we could say the two things that are lacking for most politicians is a spine and a set of balls.
Yeah, 100%. It's like I want to be able to do more. I think that's my calling in life. Is I think I've done a lot, and speaking and being an advocate and all that. It's all fine and dandy, but it's what do you do with it? I mean, at the end of the day, it's falling on deaf ears. It's a matter of working your way through the system and getting in there and getting in that seat. Being able to actually do something positive with it. And I think that's kind of my calling. I'm not going to really say as of right now what avenue I'm taking, but there is a group around me that we're already kind of exploring a few options and just trying to worm a conservative way into the the liberal stronghold that is California, but getting in there and really just making a difference, and and getting another platform to talk about saving today's youth and really just putting stuff on the map. Other than that, man, I'm still recovering from my broken neck that I had fused a year ago. I had to retire out of mixed martial arts a year ago. Unfortunately, I got
how'd you break your neck?
Past that, car accident, man. So it was real unfortunate. I grabbed the steering wheel. I reached down to scratch my ankle. It was after practice, and got rear-ended. My head, I went backwards, went forward, hit the steering wheel. My head snapped down, and that was all she wrote. Jacked up my neck real bad. So it, I had to get a fusion and cage through a tracheotomy fusion and cage in my neck. So ended up forcing me out just because of there was multiple levels that had to be fused. And CSAC and NSAC said, we can't approve you anymore. So that really took some sail out of my wins. I'm kind of trying to get into the, representing some fighters and really just because I know what it takes, in the game. I know avenues you need to approach, and having a thief in your pocket that's just after cash isn't not the way to approach this stuff.
Yeah,
so I'm just trying to be a new fresh air. Yeah, just trying to be a fresh breath of air for these fighters, not charge them 20% and all that shit. Like that's all garbage. And I don't need it. I own a very successful construction company, and I have other stuff in the works. But yeah, my life's always I'm an ever evolving creature. I'm like that damn caterpillar that just keeps rehatching and keeps becoming new.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have to. I mean, in today's world, you have to create your own opportunities. And there's some, I mean, especially with all the technology that is there available at your fingertips now. I mean, there are so many things that you can do, and so many different people that you can reach out to. Well,
Yeah.
so, no, good for you. I'm glad that you are pursuing something like this. We just need more good people that are out there doing things that are going to impact the world, and again, to help raise the bar. Stop lowering the bar. Raise that bar.
Yeah.
Now, Dan, you're gonna need somebody to call the stress card out. Shit. You expect too much from people. Expect individualism. Think for themselves and be responsible for themselves. Can't have that. Not in today's communistic society.
Well, I still have this word called hope.
I got a safe full of FAFO right there.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
welcome to that's not a small safe.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, and especially in California, everybody's so butthurt or everything offends you. Geez, what, a year or two or 2 years ago, or geez, now it's 2019. I was wearing a shirt and it said it had a polar bear, Coca-Cola, holding 2 cans of Coca-Cola. It just didn't say Coca-Cola, and it said I effing love Coke on it. And this lady comes up and she lost it on me. And she's like, "You're promoting drugs." I go, "Whoa, I just love Coca-Cola." And like, wow. And I wear some pretty my friends call them my traveling shirts because I travel so much. I have a plethora of traveling shirts. I have one that says "On Vaxxed and Thriving." Oh, the stewardess love that one. I have the only good Taliban's a dead Taliban Dakota Meyer shirt. I have my 0% liberal shirt that I wear all the time. I wear that on there. My FAFO. I have one that says FAFO.
Now, is that in rainbow colors? That 0% liberal, is that rainbow colors too?
Oh,
I mean,
black and white, my friend, black and white. And then I got I have one that I got that's all bubble letters that looks friendly, but it says "fuck around and find out" and all multicolored bubble letters. I wear that one. I got one that says "shoot your local terrorist." I wear that one around, and another one that says "slaughter your local pedophile," and I'll wear that on the plane. Oh,
where'd you get that?
Are like, dude, that one was made. The "shoot your local pedophile" the terrorist one. That's from Combat Iron. It's a combat veteran owned company.
Yeah.
And they still have sweatshirts and t-shirts. Yeah, Combat Iron makes that. The "slaughter your local pedophile," that was made. My buddy made like 10 of them. And we wear those. But
tell me make some more and send it to me, man.
All right. Yeah, they've asked us. It's funny, the airline, that's one of the reasons why I got asked to never get on an American Airlines flight. They asked me to turn it inside out, and I refused. Nothing in their rules says that I just I said, what do you support?
To me, your clothes. I mean, it's as long as like you walk in these restaurants, it's like no shoes, no shirt, no service. I mean, like okay, I follow your guidelines.
I mean, if you guys look at my Instagram, I'm not shy with being 90% nude in my life. I played a celebrity softball game last year on ESPN, and the producers were pissed because they kept coming in the locker room, and I was wearing those American flag silky trunks, the real short ones, the 4-inch inseams. And I was walking around the locker room with nothing but a bow tie on. And they're like, hey, put on a shirt before you walk out there. You got to have your jersey on. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. And I waited and I put 2 beer cans in my one hand and I had an American flag bat. And I took the Texas hat, put it backwards, and I had my Pit Vipers on. And I waited and I heard the national anthem. They said, please stand for the national anthem. Here comes Shane from the outfield. Running out in the Texas Rangers Stadium to the lineup, carrying beer cans, like nothing more American in these booty shorts. And I'm standing there on ESPN and the cameras keep, and you see the producer like freaking out. And I was like, this is America. And I played the entire game like that. And I tackled Glenn Gronkowski tried to tackle me at first base. It was a blast. It was just comical. But afterwards, the producers were like, "You'll never play this game again. You'll never play. And it's funny because I'm playing in Texas on November 3rd.
You probably got all kinds of offers to come and play at games.
Oh
just because of that.
Oh, yeah, you know they were like, dude, this guy loves America. You know, and that's what it comes down to. Is I'm a firm believer. You know, we the people. You know, I have my battle flag, my 1776 battle flag on my arm, and I'm a firm believer, in the U.S. Constitution. I love, I bleed red, white, and blue. And if you think you're gonna disrespect my flag, I'd love to talk to you about it because I talk with my hands, and I'll gladly disciple you.
Yep. Nope.
I'll point the direction out the door.
Point the direction.
I just want to say amen to all that. I mean, it's we believe in all the same things. But well, Shane, do you want to promote any? How people can get in contact with you to either help you with some of the projects that you're working on, maybe throw some donations your way, or just looking just to help because they like what you stand for and what you're trying to do.
So if you guys want to donate, I always say, you got to pick nonprofits that are good, that do good things in this world. And there's a lot of shit nonprofits that are just money grabs for the people. I would love to give a huge shout out to a nonprofit that means everything to me. It's MVP, Emerging Veterans and Players, Jay Glazer and Nate Boyer. Jay Glazer, you might know him from the NFL Network, Entourage. He's been around. Nate Boyer, played in the NFL, has a Super Bowl ring, also was in the U.S. Army Special Forces. 2 amazing individuals. Please, if you want to donate to an organization that saves military men all over the country, men and women, and gives them an opportunity to work out, like we've been talking about in this podcast, gives them an opportunity to sweat, holds them responsible, gets them active, which helps with your mental psyche, your heart, your physical, everything. MVP, Emerging Veterans and Players, please go out and donate. I don't need donations from, you fine folk. I really appreciate it. I have other avenues, God bless on that. And I appreciate it. Other than that, to get a hold of me, my Instagram is war, WAR, and then _Rhino, RHINO. Nice and easy, War Rhino. I'm the only goofball holding my own name plaque in front of the Bellator, in front of the Bellator banner. You'll know me.
My nickname was Love Rhino.
Oh shit. Anyways.
So moving along here again, as you're saying.
But no, it's War. So anyways, War Rhino, and you'll know it's me because there's a big picture of me and Kyle Rittenhouse right in the front of my Instagram that is nice and tagged. But other than that, just stand up for your rights. If you don't fight for your rights, you'll lose them faster than they were ever written.
Yeah,
our forefathers,
100%.
Our forefathers, they signed a bill of treason on July 4th, 1776. with the know-how that they were dead. They were signing their own death warrant that day on July 4th, 1776. And, you look back and they didn't care. They did that for us. And people just spit on that nowadays. And
there were guys, excuse me, sorry. There were guys that were equal to being billionaires, millionaires and billionaires in that group. But a couple of them were billionaires and they lost everything, man. Everything.
Yep. Yeah, and it's crazy. But they didn't care. And you got people
like Trump. They were like Trump. Trump put it all on the fucking line for us. And a lot of us sitting on our ass and not appreciating what he's doing.
Sitting on it. And I really look at that and I'm like, could you look at John Hancock, who made damn sure the British could read his freaking signature.
Right.
He made good and damn sure. He was like, here you go. And he was one of the guys that you were talking about, Don, that was equivalent to a billionaire at the time. And he lost everything. He was homeless, got stripped of all his titles, his land, everything. And he didn't care. And he said, hold my beer. Let me sign my name to where you can know that I signed this. And he did it. So I could never look at those guys in the face in the next life and be like, hey, I didn't stand up and fight for what you guys fought for. I also can't look at my kids. I can't look at my daughter and give her a kiss on the forehead at night and give her a hug and kiss unless I know that I'm standing up for every damn child out there, and just remember this, all this trans movement bullshit that's going on and all this mental ideology dumbassness in the world. In the Bible, there's many mentions of Adam and Eve. That's mentioned numerous times. Adam and Eve in the garden, Adam and Eve here, Adam and Eve. Never said Adam and Eve, who used to be Steve, or any other variation of that. And anybody that thinks that there's anything different than that, you are absolutely incorrect. You are also mentally ill. And if you believe that, putting these kids into these situations is okay, or all this crap, pedophilia, all that crap, down at local Home Depot or Menards, they sell these really cool things. They're called wood chippers. Just go start one up and just jump in that bad boy. I'll pay the cleaning fee. It's not a big deal. But other than that, it's all good, man. That's my piece.
Absolutely.
Where's your drums there, Mr. Frye? You got to go. Doo-doo-doo.
No, I believe in it, man.
No, it's good. I mean, Shane, again, you're preaching to the choir here when you talk to Don and myself.
I appreciate it.
Like I said, on that note, just to say amen to all of that. So just where we come from. So, Shane, I tell you, this has been fantastic having you on here, and we'd like to kind of tune in with you, maybe 6 months to a year down the road, just to see where things are at, how things are progressing along, and how we can, maybe bring a little bit more attention to the causes that you're working with.
Yeah,
I'd love it, man. Yeah, and then I know Don, you're wearing an OC Fight Doc. Dr. Kessler is the shit.
He is a good guy, isn't he?
Oh, I love Doc Kessler. Oh, yeah, man. That man got me through my fight career.
Yeah,
like
he takes care of everybody, man. I mean, he's amazing.
Oh yeah,
great guy.
Yeah. And then I saw you hold up the cup, bear down. By the way, U of A.
That wasn't my idea.
Come on.
Bear down.
I got that snuck in. I wasn't even paying attention. I got snuck in on me.
Got him.
Fucker.
Got
him. Inside jokes here now.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, Shane, thank you once again. I've got to be wrapping up. I got to be hitting the road here myself. So thank you,
partner.
And definitely we'll be in contact, and we'll be looking to get an update down the road.
Thank you very much,
guys. You guys have a great day.
You too.
Thank you for everything. The too, Shane. Yep. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
God bless.
Thank you for watching another episode of Dan and Don's Toxic Masculinity. You better like, subscribe, and share, or I'm going to come to your house.